Hello and welcome back. I've decided to do a very brief video just to talk about tuning methods, because I was waffling on a bit in my last video. I was going flash tune, OBD and all sorts of things like that, and a lot of people won't know what flash tuning etc is and what is involved. Then I did have this flashed, and obviously I'm not going to again. But the difference, I was going to explain it by saying the difference between mapping Sierra Cosworth 25 years ago. I used to do performance parts for the Cosworth and that, and then bring it forward to what we've got now with the M140i. So years ago, you would pick the tuning company that you wanted. I'm not going to mention anybody, just in case, because it was exactly the same then as it is now. You had good and you had bad maps. You had people saying they get major horsepower and just basically boosting themselves up. But back then it was called, well, what I called it was chip tuning. So you would find the company that you wanted to go with. You would buy a chip. So for the Sierra, it'd be like 270 brake horsepower for a stage one, and obviously it went up to like 320, 425, 360. You decided what you wanted. Then all you had to do was pull out the ECU, remove the top cover, find the chip, pull the chip out, and put the new chip in that had been supplied to you. But then you had to set the boost on the turbo. So obviously you had to go out, you had to put, I'd put a gauge, pressure gauge onto the pipe, come through the window, and then you'd go out on the road and you would set the boost to what you wanted it to be, whether it be like 12, 14 PSI. So you had to go up the road, get a reading, adjust the actuator arm, which was the pressure on the wastegate arm. Adjust that like 1 turn, 1.5 turns. You'd go up the road, you'd measure it again, and obviously you'd get some wear, so you didn't get the pressure that you was hoping. So then you adjust it again, and you went up the road and you measured it, and this would go on until you got the pressure that you wanted. Basically, it was a ball ache. It really was. But that essentially is how you did it 25 years ago. You'd still use your panel filter, you'd still put your cones on and everything else, and increase fuel pressure, which was dead easy on the Sierra because you could just use an Allen key and turn it up. So as I've said, it was very similar to what you've got today, but obviously it's done in a completely different way. But just to the one person, and this is the person, you can't speak to him now, but the person you're looking for your M140i is the Armid Beiju of the Ford world. He was the man. He would tell you you're going to get 360 horsepower. You got 360 horsepower, and I was on a track day in my RS 500. Got an RS 500 in front of me with like 60 horsepower more than me, claimed to be more than me, and I was pulling on him all the time. He couldn't get away, and he was looking at me wondering what the hell was going on, trying to look in my engine bay, see what I'd done to be able to keep up with him. And basically I had a proper map, done by someone who actually was very good at what they did. I mean, Armid did the maps for Ford, as far as I know. So so back to the M140i, which has now obviously moved on, and where we got flash tuning, and obviously you can still do it on the rolling road. So flash tuning, which I had done on this car, it's a bit of a ball ache again. One, you've got to remove the ECU. So on this M140i, where I've now got the front brace on it, I'd have to remove that, remove the ECU. That then gets plugged into the computer. Computer reads the map that's in it, and it will come up with a screen with loads of numbers, like 1 to 50. And it relates to the fueling on the car at certain revs. And then you would have to obviously run it up on the rolling road. You'd see the power graph, you'd see dips in the graph, and that meant the fueling was wrong. Change the number by 2, say from 25 to 28, or if you didn't want a lot of red, and then that would give you the power that you wanted, and in a very you could do it yourself like that. But it's not always right if somebody's not understanding the numbers that they're correct. And one explanation of when I said about getting a good and a bad map is that I can set up a flash tuning business right now for like £1,200 to £2,500, and then I go out and I say, oh yeah, I've got the best map, I'm the best flash tuner in the country, and I ain't got a bloody clue what I'm doing, basically. No. So that's how easy it is with flash tuning, and that's why I think it's a bit of a grey area. And on my car, even though everything was programmed in, the ECU light kept coming on, it kept telling me there was a problem. Yeah, it really was. And obviously you need the internet, so a lot of tuners don't like it because you've got to have the internet for I'm trying to get the light right, you need the internet to do it. So you then, if you can't do it yourself, you then got to send it to somebody who might be in America, and then you got to wait for him to pick up that map, change it. If he's having a sandwich or a cup of tea, he's probably going to finish that first, and then he'll send his map back, and then you send it into your ECU, and then you got to put the ECU back and the strut brace on this car. So to me, it is a ball ache, and I won't be going down that route again. Or you've got the OBD port, which is down in the footwell on the M140i, where you plug it in and you can download the map, and if it's on the rolling road, then you could make the adjustments as you would have with flash tuning, but it's done live. And obviously, I just think that's just a lot better way of doing it, and you don't need the internet. So there's obviously a lot of gadgets out there where you can load maps into your car, and I've mentioned this. Again, you do need to know who's done the map, but you can get, it's a bit like the blue fin that you can use on like a Fiesta ST or something like that. You basically plug it in, it'll take the map out of your car. You then, well, that actually would have to be on the internet for the first time, because it'll read all your car, it'll take your chassis number and everything, so you can't go putting it into everyone else's car. It'll make the adjustments, or it'll send that map back to you. You load it into your box that came with it. You plug it into the OBD port and you load that map into your car, and there you've got, especially if you know where it's come from and that it was all done on the rolling road, etc., that you've got a good map in your car. And then if you wanted to take the car for a service and you wanted the map out, with flash tune you've got to go back, you've got to have the ECU removed, you've then got to wait for that map to come back, you put the map in, blah blah blah. But if you've got one of the boxes, and there's a lot of piggyback boxes, don't like them, but that's just my opinion. You can actually plug your device back into your OBD port and take that map out of your car and put the standard one back in if we've gone through the OBD port. So it's far simpler. And then obviously if you've had your car serviced, you get your car back, you plug it in again, you take out the standard map and you put in your stage 1, stage 2, whatever you've got. And for me, after like 2 years of owning this car, that's the way I see forward. For me, just for the pure ease of it, get a good map, one that's been done on the rolling road. I've seen the map of the one that I want. It's a really, really good strong map with no blips in it, which is obviously what you don't want. And without the hassle, say, there are lots of good things with flash tuning if you can put up with it, such as turning the cold start on and off, and telling it that the PPF is missing, sports, there's so much you can do with it. But again, you got to get the internet, and don't know, it's just not for me anymore. So hopefully that's a bit of a brief explanation as to how tuning hasn't changed over the last 25-30 years. It's just more advanced and easier to do. So if once you load a map into this car, into the modern M140i or Focus RS, whichever you've got, all the boost is all done via the ECU. It's all mapped for you. You don't have to run up the road with a pipe and check all the boost pressure and everything. But again, it has to be right. If you haven't got the right boost pressure, you run in too much boost pressure, you're going to detonate your engine. So you don't want to do that, trust me. So that is just my very brief terminology of what tuning is all about. My underbody bracing kit is due within the next week, I hope. It's been on back order for forever. If you want to see what happens with that, then please subscribe. And if you've got any questions that I can help you with, or advice about the M140i, you know, there's loads of people out there know a lot more than me. I just say how it is, really. Then just leave me a message below. And thanks very much.